Chapter 3. The Duke at the Gates. Duke Valmir had brought 80 soldiers to arrest one sickly 17-year-old. That alone told Darian everything he needed to know. This was not an arrest. It was an execution dressed in royal authority. From the bedroom window, Darian watched armored riders pour into the Ashbourne courtyard. Their purple cloaks moved in the wind like spreading bruises. The soldiers formed disciplined lines around the manor. Archers remained outside the walls. Mounted knights guarded the gates. Every exit had been covered. At the center of the formation stood an enclosed black carriage decorated with gold serpents. 4 heavily armored knights surrounded it. Darian counted the forces twice. 80 soldiers outside. At least 30 royal guards already inside the estate. The Ashbourne household maintained perhaps 20 guards of its own, most of whom had never fought anything more dangerous than drunken travelers. A battle would become a massacre. Alistair stood beside the window. He was not invited, he said. Darian glanced at him. Does a duke normally require an invitation before surrounding your family home? No. Then perhaps we should ask why your father opened the gates. Alistair's jaw tightened. He may have believed Valmir came under royal orders. Did he? No royal banner. Darian looked back toward the courtyard. House Valmir's soldiers had entered the estate without resistance. That meant someone had informed the gate guards of their arrival, or ordered them not to interfere, possibly Lord Ashbourne, possibly someone else. A notification appeared. Critical scenario detected. New objective received. Survive the Duke's judgment. Primary conditions: prevent your immediate execution. Protect the Ashbourne household. Discover Duke Valmir's objective. Optional conditions: expose evidence of conspiracy. Gain a political advantage. Prevent open battle. Standard reward: 100 general experience, 10-fold growth. Reward: 1,000 general experience. Failure. Consequence: death or imprisonment. Darian dismissed the screen. At last the system had presented a reward worthy of the danger. He opened his status. Name: Lucian Ashbourne. Level 3. Class: Unawakened. Strength: 5. Agility: 5. Endurance: 4. Intelligence: 8. Willpower: 14. Free attribute points: 10. Skills: Basic Swordsmanship. Level 1. Basic Unarmed Combat. Level 1. Investigation. Level 2. Tactical Assessment. Available. Darian selected the new skill. Learn Tactical Assessment. Cost: 50 general experience. He confirmed. Cold clarity spread through his mind. The people in the room became pieces on a battlefield. Alistair stood close enough to attack or defend. The young royal soldier remained near the dead captain, still shaken and uncertain. The door offered the most likely route of entry. The window provided escape but exposed anyone climbing through it to the courtyard archers. None of those observations were new. What changed was the speed with which Darian processed them. He no longer needed to study every detail consciously. Threats, positions, and advantages arranged themselves naturally in his thoughts. Tactical Assessment learned. Level 1. Tactical Assessment. Improves your ability to evaluate combatants, terrain, formations, and immediate threats. Darian allocated his attribute points. He placed 3 into strength, 3 into agility, 3 into endurance. The final point went into intelligence. The improvement struck immediately. Heat moved through his arms and legs, his spine straightened. The weakness that had made 10 push-ups feel like torture receded. He was not powerful, but his body no longer felt as though it might break from a strong wind. Strength increased. 5, 8. Agility increased. 5, 8. Endurance increased. 4, 7. Intelligence increased. 8, 9. Darian flexed his fingers. Better. Alistair noticed. You look different. So you keep saying. You were half dead when I entered this room. I am recovering. People do not recover that quickly. People do not usually arrive with poisoned officers and false evidence either. Alistair looked toward the dead captain. The young soldier had finished searching the body. He stood and held out several objects. Sir, there is no identification beyond the royal insignia. Alistair accepted the badge. Name? Captain Roderick Hale. Darian searched Lucian's memories. Nothing. Alistair saw the lack of recognition in his expression. You did not know him? No. He served in the capital's western garrison. Then someone chose a man with enough authority to command this arrest, but little enough connection to us that his involvement would raise no suspicion. The young soldier swallowed. Are you saying the royal court ordered this? I am saying someone wants us to believe it did. Heavy footsteps sounded in the corridor. A moment later, the bedroom door opened. 4 Ashbourne guards entered with swords drawn. Their commander, Master Corvin, was a broad man with greying hair and a dented breastplate. He had trained Lucien's brothers and ignored Lucien whenever possible. His eyes moved from Alistair to the dead captain. What happened? The captain attempted to murder Lucien, Alistair said. Corvin stared at Darian as if struggling to understand why anyone would bother. The Duke requests the boy's presence in the Great Hall. Requests? Darian asked. Corvin frowned. He claims authority from the king. Has he shown a royal warrant? He presented a sealed order. Did you read it? That is not my place. Darian almost laughed. Men often surrendered their judgment by claiming something was not their place. It made obedience easier. Then you do not know what it says. Corvin's expression hardened. You should hold your tongue. Should I also place my neck willingly beneath the Duke's sword? You are accused of treason, and the man sent to arrest me just died trying to silence me. Corvin glanced at the corpse again. Doubt entered his face, only briefly, but it was enough. Alistair stepped forward. No one takes Lucien anywhere until I speak with father. The Duke has demanded. I do not care what he demanded. Corvin stiffened. Darian studied the older guard. Corvin respected rank, but not Lucien. Alistair could command him only so far. If Lord Ashbourne ordered the family guard to surrender Darian, Corvin would obey. Darian needed another source of leverage. What does Valmir know? He asked. Alistair looked at him. About what? The captain. We have no way of knowing. Then assume he knows everything. Darian pointed toward the body. If Valmir sent him, the Duke expects me either dead or restrained. If the captain acted for someone else, Valmir may not know the arrest has been compromised. Alistair followed his reasoning. You want to conceal the body. I want to control what the Duke learns. The young soldier looked alarmed. You cannot hide the death of a royal officer. We do not need to hide it forever, Darian said. Only until we understand why the Duke is here. Alistair nodded once. Corvin, move the body to the old records room. Say the captain is questioning the prisoner privately. Corvin stared at him. You want me to lie to a duke? I want you to protect this family. That argument reached him. Corvin ordered 2 guards to lift the dead captain. Darian stopped them. Remove the purple wax first. Alistair took the fragment and placed it in a small leather pouch. Anything else? The hidden blade. The young soldier retrieved it from the floor. Its metal was dark and slightly curved. A sticky substance coated the edge. Poison. Darian wrapped it in cloth and handed it to Alistair. This may be more valuable than the wax. Alistair raised an eyebrow. Why? Because noble houses change seals. Assassins are often less creative with poison. A notification appeared. Tactical action successful. 5. Tactical experience gained. Tenfold growth activated. 50. Tactical experience gained. Tactical assessment increased to level 2. Alistair ordered the young royal soldier to remain in the room. The soldier looked uneasy. What is your name? Darian asked. Gareth Cole. Did Captain Hale choose you for this assignment? Yes. Why? I do not know. You must have some idea. Gareth hesitated. I served beneath him once. Did you trust him? I barely knew him. That made sense. A conspirator would choose subordinates who could be controlled but would not recognize unusual behavior. Did he give you any instructions before entering the estate? Gareth looked toward Alistair. Answer him, Alistair said. He told us Lord Lucien was dangerous. Darian looked down at his narrow arms. Terrifying. Gareth's face reddened. He said you might be possessed. That was more interesting. Possessed by what? He did not say. He ordered us not to listen if you spoke in another voice. Alistair's eyes moved toward Darian. Lucien's voice had not changed, but his manner certainly had. The conspirators knew something unusual had happened, or they expected Lucien's condition to change. Darian felt a cold sensation in his stomach. What else? He said you might know things you should not know. The damaged memories, the letter, the bell tower. Someone had tampered with Lucien's mind, but perhaps they had failed to erase everything. Captain Hale had not been sent merely to recover the cipher. He had been sent to ensure Lucien never remembered what had happened. A bell rang from the courtyard. Once, twice, 3 times. Corvin went pale. That is the formal challenge. Alistair cursed. Darian turned toward him. Meaning? Duke Valmir has invoked the right of judgment. Lucien's memories supplied only fragments. An ancient law, noble authority. Trial by accusation. Darian focused on Alistair. Explain it. When a noble family is accused of betraying the crown, a duke may demand immediate judgment if royal interests are believed to be at risk. Can he execute me? If father accepts the challenge, and if he refuses, Valmir may declare the estate hostile to the crown. Darian looked toward the soldiers outside. He came prepared for refusal. Yes. Who decides guilt? The presiding noble, the duke himself. Alistair's silence was answer enough. A trial judged by the man who had likely arranged the crime. Efficient. Can another noble dispute his authority? Only one of equal or higher rank. Your father. Baron. Then no. No, Darian continued thinking. Can the accused demand evidence? Yes. Witnesses? Yes. Representation? Alistair frowned. Traditionally. Can the accused speak in his own defense? You are not standing before a military tribunal. That was not my question. Yes, you may speak. Good. A battlefield could be made from more than earth and steel. The great hall would contain family members, guards, servants, royal soldiers, and the duke's retinue. Witnesses, an audience. Valmir needed Darian dead, but he also needed the execution to appear lawful. That requirement was a weakness. Darian moved toward the wardrobe and removed a dark green formal coat. Lucien had worn it to academy ceremonies. The shoulders fit poorly, but it was the finest clothing available. Alistair watched him dress. You intend to face him? I intend to find out why 80 soldiers are required to judge one unarmed boy. You are still accused of murdering a royal courier. Then hiding upstairs will not improve my position. You may not survive the hall. I will certainly not survive the courtyard. Alistair stepped closer. This is not a game. Darian fastened the final button. I know. His voice carried enough weight that Alistair went still. For a moment, Darian saw recognition in his brother's eyes. Not recognition of Lucien. Recognition of another soldier. Another commander. Darian could not afford that question yet. He crossed to the desk and took the mysterious letter. Have you seen this symbol? Alistair examined the black crown surrounded by thorns. No. Look again. I would remember it. The paper carries Valmir wax. Alistair's eyes sharpened. Where did you get it? It was sent to Lucien at the academy. You speak of yourself as though you were another person. Darian met his gaze. A great many things about the boy who attended that academy no longer feel like me. That is not an answer. It is the only one you are receiving. Alistair studied the letter. What does it mean? Someone used my mother's death to lure me beneath the East Bell Tower. When? Before the duel. Why did you never tell us? I do not remember what happened afterward. Alistair's expression changed. You vanished for 2 days. Lucien's memories shifted violently. Rain, stone stairs. A door beneath the tower. Someone screaming. A woman's voice. A golden mask. Then nothing. Darian gripped the desk until the memory passed. Alistair noticed. What did you see? I do not know. You reacted to something. I said I do not know. A blue notification appeared. Fragmented memory detected. System analysis available. Mental interference confirmed. Type unknown. Magical suppression. Estimated memory recovery requirement. Willpower 20 or specialized cleansing. Darian's willpower was 14. He could reach 20 eventually, but not before facing the Duke. Was Mother's body examined? He asked. Alistair went completely still. What does that have to do with this? Answer. She died of fever. That is not what I asked. Alistair looked away. No, father refused an examination. Why? He said it was disrespectful, a convenient excuse. Was Valmere present when she died? Alistair's gaze snapped back toward him. Yes. The room fell silent. He was visiting father, Alistair continued. They had been negotiating a trade agreement. How long after his arrival did she become ill? A day. And how long until she died? 3 days. Darian folded the letter. What color wax was used on the physician's records? I do not remember. Find out. You believe Valmere killed her? I believe coincidences are often just plans we have not understood yet. The bells rang again, this time 6 times. Corvin returned to the doorway. The Duke says he will begin judgment without Lord Lucian present. Darian walked past him. Then we should not keep him waiting. The Ashbourne Great Hall had been designed to impress visiting nobles. Today it looked like a courtroom prepared for an execution. Purple banners had been hung between the stone pillars. Valmere soldiers lined both walls. Royal guards stood near the entrance, uncertain which authority they were expected to obey. The Ashbourne family occupied the raised platform at the far end. Lord Edric Ashbourne sat in the central chair. Lucian's father appeared smaller than Darian remembered from the boy's memories. His once dark hair had gone mostly grey. Heavy lines surrounded his eyes. Beside him sat Lady Helena, Lucian's stepmother. His second brother, Cedric, stood behind them with one hand resting on his sword. Cedric was 23, handsome and proud. He had treated Lucien with less cruelty than Alistair, though mostly because he rarely noticed him. None of them looked relieved to see Darian alive. Duke Magnus Valmere stood at the centre of the hall. He was a large man dressed in a deep purple coat over ceremonial armour. Gold rings covered his fingers. His grey beard had been trimmed into a sharp point. His son stood beside him, Cassian Valmere, the student who had defeated Lucien in the academy duel. Cassian wore a white academy uniform with gold embroidery and carried a slender dueling sword. He smiled when Darian entered. That smile carried no surprise. He had expected Lucien to survive the poison. Or perhaps he knew Lucien had never taken enough to die. Darian entered with Alistair on his right. Whispers spread through the hall. Lucien's posture was familiar to everyone present, head lowered, shoulders drawn inward, eyes fixed on the floor. Darian gave them none of that. He walked like a commander entering a war council. The whispers faded. Duke Valmere studied him. So, the Duke said, the traitor finally appears. Darian stopped 20 feet away. So, he replied, the judge announces his decision before presenting the evidence. Several people inhaled sharply. Cassian's smile vanished. Lord Ashbourne rose halfway from his chair. Lucien, show respect. Darian looked at his father. Respect is earned through conduct. You will apologize. No. The word echoed through the hall. Lord Ashbourne stared at him, not angry, stunned. The old Lucien had never refused him publicly. Duke Valmere laughed. This is the trembling little coward from the academy. Cassian leaned closer to his father. He was not like this yesterday. Yesterday, the single word mattered. Darian looked at him. We met yesterday. Cassian realized his mistake, only for an instant. Then he smiled again. At the academy. I left 4 days ago. You are confused. Then perhaps you should explain when and where you saw me. Cassian did not answer. A notification appeared. Investigation check successful. Potential contradiction detected. Valmere raised one hand. This judgment concerns the murder of a royal courier and the theft of a state cipher. It is not a stage for childish arguments. Then present the evidence. The Duke's eyes narrowed. You were witnessed leaving the site of the murder. By whom? The witness will remain protected. Then the witness cannot be questioned. The testimony was sworn before a royal magistrate. Which magistrate? Valmere's expression remained calm. Darian continued, a royal officer arrived to arrest me. That officer carried concealed poison and attempted to murder me before I could be questioned. Murmurs erupted. Valmere did not react. Interesting. Either he already knew or he had enough discipline to hide his surprise. "Where is this officer?" the Duke asked. Darian glanced at Alistair. Alistair stepped forward. Dead. The murmurs became louder. Valmir looked toward the royal guards near the entrance. "Who killed him?" "I did," Alistair said, "after he attempted to stab my brother with a poisoned blade." Lord Ashbourne gripped the arm of his chair. "Why was I not informed?" "Because the Duke arrived before we could determine who sent the officer." Valmir smiled faintly. "You suggest I did?" "I have suggested nothing," Alistair said. Darian watched the Duke's hands. No tension, no fear. Valmir believed himself protected. "Search the boy," the Duke ordered. 2 Valmir soldiers stepped forward. Alistair blocked them. "Your men will not touch him. You defy a lawful judgment. I insist that Ashbourne guards conduct the search." Valmir looked toward Lord Ashbourne. The Baron hesitated. Darian saw the pressure crushing him. Refuse the Duke and risk being declared an enemy of the crown. Obey and surrender his son. Whatever Lucian thought of his father, the man did not appear eager to do either. "Corvin," Lord Ashbourne said at last, "search him." The guard commander approached Darian. Darian raised his arms. Corvin found the quill knife, the letter, and nothing else. He handed the items to Lord Ashbourne. Valmir's attention settled on the letter, only for a fraction of a second, then he looked away. Darian saw it. So did Alistair. Lord Ashbourne opened the letter, his face drained of colour. "Where did you get this?" "It was sent to me at the academy." Lady Helena leaned toward him. "What does it say?" Lord Ashbourne read the sentence aloud. Silence followed. Darian watched his father. "You recognize the symbol?" "No," the answer came too quickly. "Then why are you frightened?" "I am not frightened." "Your hand is shaking." Lord Ashbourne lowered the letter. Valmir spoke before he could answer. "An obvious forgery, intended to distract from the charges." "Then you recognize the wax," Darian said. The Duke's gaze turned toward him. "What wax?" Darian smiled. "You looked at the edge before anyone mentioned it." Valmir's expression finally changed. Only slightly, Cassian reached for his sword. Darian's tactical assessment marked the movement immediately, not because Cassian intended to attack, because he was frightened. "Corvin," Darian said, "show the letter to the hall." Lord Ashbourne stared at him. "You do not give orders here." "No, but Duke Valmir claims the letter is a forgery. Surely he would welcome public examination." Valmir's voice became colder. "This is irrelevant." "Then why do you care who sees it?" The hall grew quiet. Valmir's soldiers watched the Ashbourne guards. The Ashbourne guards watched the Duke's soldiers. Everyone understood how quickly words could become blood. Darian needed to keep the Duke speaking. "Let us return to your accusation," he said. "The courier's satchel was discovered beneath my bed." Valmir nodded, along with his bloodied badge. "And where is the stolen cipher?" "That is what you will tell us." "You have surrounded my home with 80 soldiers before determining whether I possess the object you seek. The cipher contains information of critical importance. So important that you delayed informing the king." That struck something. Duke Valmir's eyes hardened. Darian continued, "If the cipher threatens royal agents, the capital should be under lockdown. Roads should be searched. Border posts should be alerted, yet you came directly here." A few royal guards exchanged glances. "You knew where the satchel would be found," Darian said. "You knew I would be accused, and you knew the cipher was not inside it." Valmir laughed. "You mistake insolence for intelligence." "No, I mistake preparation for guilt." Cassian stepped forward. "Father, enough. Let me challenge him." Lucien's memories reacted. The academy hall, students forming a ring, Cassian's blade cutting across his shoulder, laughter, pain, humiliation. Darian looked at the young noble. "Challenge me to what?" "Trial by combat." Lord Ashbourne stood. "No," Cassian ignored him. "Under the right of judgment, the accused may prove his innocence through steel." Darian looked at Alistair. His brother's expression warned him immediately. Cassian was at least level 12. Possibly higher. Lucien was level 3, with basic swordsmanship and no combat class. Accepting would be suicide. Refusing would appear cowardly. Cassian smiled. "You wished for an opportunity to defend yourself." Darian understood the plan. Valmir's legal evidence was weak. A trial by combat removed the need for evidence altogether. Cassian would kill him publicly. The Duke would call it divine judgment. Darian glanced at the system message still floating at the edge of his vision. Optional condition available. Gain a political advantage. A direct duel offered no advantage, but the rules around it might. What weapon? Darian asked. Alistair turned sharply. Lucien. Cassian's smile widened. Swords. Armor? None. Victory condition? Death or surrender? Darian considered him. If I surrender, am I declared guilty? Yes. And if you surrender, Cassian laughed, I will not. That was not my question. Valmir stepped forward. If my son surrenders, you will be cleared of the murder accusation. There it was. Not all charges, only the murder. And the cipher. You will still be required to reveal its location. So even victory would not free me. You cannot bargain with the crown. I am bargaining with you. The hall went silent again. Darian looked around deliberately. Duke Valmir claims authority to judge me, but he refuses to show a royal warrant. He claims a protected witness saw me commit murder, but he will not name the witness. He claims a cipher was stolen, but he somehow knew it would not be found with the planted evidence. Valmir's face darkened. Careful. And now he offers a duel in which my victory changes nothing. Darian turned toward Lord Ashbourne. Father, is this judgment lawful? Lord Ashbourne looked trapped. Before he could answer, Lady Helena stood. No. Everyone turned toward her. Lucien's stepmother had barely spoken in his presence for years. Now she descended from the platform. The old laws require equal stakes, she said. If the accused risks death, the challenger must risk the accusation being overturned in full. Valmir glared at her. You interpret laws beyond your station. Lady Helena stopped beside Darian. My father served as royal magistrate for 30 years. Darian studied her. Lucien had believed she disliked him. Perhaps he had misunderstood indifference, or perhaps she had simply hidden her intentions better than the rest of the family. Cassian scoffed. Then clear him of everything when I surrender. It changes nothing. Valmir looked at his son. A warning passed between them. Cassian was too arrogant to notice or too proud to care. Darian did. The Duke did not want the wager expanded. That meant victory mattered. Very well, Darian said. I accept. Alistair seized his arm. Are you insane? Possibly. He will kill you. Then I should avoid being struck. This is not a joke. Darian lowered his voice. Can you delay the duel? Perhaps 10 minutes. Make it 15. For what? To find me a sword. You have barely held one. Darian looked into his brother's eyes. Find me a sword. Alistair released him. Cassian walked to the center of the hall as servants cleared the floor. Darian studied his opponent. Cassian was taller, heavier, more experienced in this body and this world's combat system. His uniform concealed light protective enchantments. The dueling sword at his side was probably magical. Every visible advantage belonged to him. Darian felt something he had not felt since awakening. Excitement. A system notification appeared. Duel accepted. Special objective received. Defeat Cassian Valmir, opponent level 13, your level 3, level disadvantage 10, underdog bonus activated. Experience gained during the duel will receive an additional 100% multiplier. Darian read the message twice. Tenfold growth multiplied all experience by 10. The underdog bonus doubled it again. For the duration of the duel, every action would grant 20 times the ordinary experience. Cassian thought he had challenged a helpless boy. Instead, he had offered Darian the perfect training ground. Alistair returned carrying 3 swords. One was a light dueling blade. One was a standard longsword. The third was old, broad, and covered with small chips. Darian selected the damaged sword. Alistair frowned. The balance is poor. I know. The dueling blade is faster. I know. Then why choose that? Darian tested the old sword's weight, because Cassian had trained to fight opponents who used proper weapons. Because the damaged edge would catch against a thinner blade. Because poor balance encouraged power over precision. because enemies feared what they understood and underestimated what looked broken. Darian moved toward the center of the hall. Because, he said, he already believes it cannot hurt him. Cassian drew his sword. A pale golden light traveled along its blade. Several spectators stepped back. Darian stopped 10 feet away. A royal guardsman moved between them to serve as witness. By ancient law, this duel will determine the truth of the accusations placed against Lucien Ashbourne. If Cassian Valmere wins, the accused will submit to judgment. If Lucien Ashbourne wins, all accusations will be withdrawn, and House Valmere will surrender any evidence related to the case for royal examination. Valmere's head turned sharply. That final condition was not agreed. Lady Helena smiled. Equal stakes. The royal guardsman looked uncertain. Lord Ashbourne finally found his voice. The terms are lawful. Darian glanced at his father. The Baron could have remained silent. He had chosen not to. Perhaps there was still something worth saving in this family. The guardsman raised his hand. Combatants, prepare. Cassian lowered into a refined academy stance. His sword remained high and forward, balanced, efficient, predictable. Darian held the battered longsword beside his leg. No formal guard, no elegant posture. Cassian laughed. You truly learned nothing. Darian watched his shoulders, his hips, his breathing. I learned enough. The guardsman dropped his hand. Begin. Cassian crossed the distance instantly. His blade flashed toward Darian's chest. Darian barely moved in time. Steel sliced through his coat and drew a thin line of blood across his ribs. Pain burned through him. Messages appeared. Enemy attack observed. Tactical experience gained. 1. Underdog bonus. 2. Tenfold growth activated. 20. Tactical experience gained. Cassian reversed his blade and struck again. Darian blocked. The impact nearly tore the sword from his hands. His arms went numb. Successful block. Basic swordsmanship experience gained. 2. Underdog bonus. 4. Tenfold growth activated. 40 swordsmanship experience gained. Cassian attacked a third time, faster. Darian retreated. The blade cut his shoulder. The hall filled with cheers from the Valmere soldiers. Darian ignored them. Each strike revealed something. Cassian always stepped with his right foot before a thrust. He dropped his left shoulder during a downward cut. He expected opponents to retreat toward their dominant side. Academy training, polished and repetitive. Darian blocked another strike. Basic swordsmanship increased to level 2. Knowledge flowed into his muscles. His grip tightened naturally. His feet adjusted. Cassian attacked. This time, Darian turned the blade aside cleanly. Cassian's eyes widened. Darian struck back. The battered sword crashed against Cassian's enchanted blade. The damaged edge caught for half a second, exactly as Darian intended. He twisted. Cassian lost his grip and stumbled forward. Darian drove his shoulder into the younger man's chest. Cassian fell. Gasps filled the hall. Darian raised the sword. He could have brought it down across Cassian's throat. Instead, he stepped back. Stand. Cassian's face twisted with rage. You should have killed me. I wanted everyone to see you fall first. Cassian surged to his feet. Golden light erupted around his body. The floor cracked beneath his boots. A system warning flashed. Opponent has activated a combat skill. Skill identified, Serpent's Rush. Cassian disappeared from Darian's immediate sight. Too fast. Darian threw himself sideways. The golden blade pierced his left arm. Pain exploded through him. Cassian ripped the sword free. Blood spilled across the stone. Lady Helena cried out. Alistair moved forward, but Lord Ashbourne stopped him. Interference would forfeit the duel. Darian staggered. His left hand went weak. Cassian smiled. Surrender. Darian examined the wound. Painful, deep, but not disabling. Not yet. You rely on that skill often, Darian said. Cassian blinked. What? You expected it to end the fight. Cassian attacked again. Serpent's Rush activated. This time, Darian watched the floor. The skill increased speed, but not thought. Cassian still pushed from his back leg, still leaned forward, still aimed for the center of the body. Darian stepped inward instead of away. Cassian's blade passed beneath his arm. Darian brought the pommel of his sword down against Cassian's wrist. Bone cracked. Cassian screamed. His enchanted blade hit the floor. Messages filled Darian's vision. Combat patterns successfully analyzed. Tactical assessment increased to level 3. Counterattack successful. Basic swordsmanship experience gained. 10 underdog bonus. 20 tenfold growth activated. 200 swordsmanship experience gained. Basic swordsmanship increased to level 3. Basic swordsmanship increased to level 4. Cassian clutched his broken wrist. Darian kicked the enchanted sword away. Valmir soldiers reached for their weapons. Ashbourne guards did the same. "Hold!" the royal witness shouted. Darian placed the edge of his battered sword against Cassian's throat. The hall became silent. Cassian's face had gone pale. "Surrender," Darian said. "You would not dare kill me. I have died once already." The words left his mouth before he could stop them. Alistair stared at him. Duke Valmir stepped forward. "Release my son." Darian did not look away from Cassian. "That is not how a duel works. I will have every soldier in this hall cut you apart. Then 80 witnesses will report that Duke Valmir violated a lawful judgment after his son lost." Valmir stopped. Darian pressed the blade closer. A thin line of blood appeared beneath Cassian's jaw. "Surrender." Cassian looked toward his father. The Duke gave no sign, no encouragement, no permission. For the first time, Cassian understood that his father valued the conspiracy more than his life. His arrogance collapsed. "I surrender." A bright tone rang through Darian's mind. Duel completed. Cassian Valmir defeated. Base reward, 150 combat experience, underdog bonus applied, 300 combat experience, tenfold growth activated, 3,000 combat experience gained. Level increased, 3, 4. Level increased, 4, 5. Level increased, 5, 6. Level increased, 6, 7. Level increased, 7, 8. Power surged through Darian. His wounds did not vanish, but the bleeding slowed. His muscles tightened, his senses sharpened. The battered sword suddenly felt light in his hand. More notifications appeared. Class awakening conditions partially fulfilled. Available class paths. Warrior Tactician Duelist. Commander Darian dismissed the choices before anyone noticed his distraction. He removed the sword from Cassian's throat. The royal witness stepped forward. "Lucian Ashbourne is victorious. By law, all accusations against him are suspended, pending royal investigation." "Suspended?" Darian asked. The witness swallowed. "Overturned." Duke Valmir's face had become expressionless. That was more dangerous than anger. Lord Ashbourne rose. "You will surrender all evidence connected to the courier's death." Valmir ignored him. His eyes remained on Darian. "What are you?" Darian looked at the Duke. "A man who arranged poisonings. A man connected to Lucian's damaged memories. A man who may have killed Lucian's mother." Darian smiled faintly. "The boy you failed to kill." Valmir turned toward his soldiers. "We are leaving." "You forgot something," Darian said. The Duke stopped. "The evidence." Valmir slowly faced him. "What evidence?" "The witness statement, the murder report, the authority under which you entered this estate." "And if I refuse?" Darian glanced toward the royal guards. Several now stood closer to the Ashbourne side of the hall. "You came here claiming to act for the crown. Refusing royal examination would suggest otherwise." Valmir studied him for a long moment. Then he removed a sealed packet from inside his coat and threw it to the floor. "There." Darian did not pick it up. "Corvin." The guard commander retrieved the packet. Valmir's soldiers began withdrawing. 4 of them lifted the injured Cassian. As the young noble passed Darian, fear and hatred burned in his eyes. Darian leaned closer. "Yesterday," he whispered. "Where did you see me?" Cassian went rigid. Darian smiled. "I will remember to ask again." The soldiers carried him away. Duke Valmir paused at the hall's entrance. "This kingdom devours boys who pretend to be men." Darian rested the battered sword against his shoulder. "In my experience, kingdoms are more often devoured by old men who think themselves untouchable." The Duke left. Only when the final purple cloak disappeared did the hall begin to breathe again. Darian's knees nearly failed. The level gains had strengthened him, but the blood loss remained. Alistair caught his arm. "You need a physician. First, open the packet." Lord Ashbourne descended from the platform. "You will do as your brother says." Darian looked at him. There would be many questions later, about the mother, about the letter, about why Lord Ashbourne recognized the Black Crown. For now, Corvin broke the seal. Inside were 3 documents. The first described the murdered courier. The second contained the anonymous witness statement. The third was a royal order authorizing immediate arrest. Alistair took the order, his face darkened. "This is forged." "How do you know?" Darian asked. "The king changed his signature seal 6 months ago." The Duke had entered the estate using obsolete royal authority. Corvin read the witness statement. There is a name. Valmir had claimed the witness was protected. Apparently he had not expected anyone else to see the document. "Who?" Lord Ashbourne asked. Corvin looked toward Darian. "Edwin Hale." The servant who had warned Darian, the quiet boy now hiding in the kitchen. Darian remembered the dead captain's name. Roderick Hale. Same surname. Possibly family. Possibly coincidence. He no longer believed in coincidences. A final system message appeared. Objective completed. Survive the Duke's judgment. Primary conditions completed. Optional condition completed. Expose evidence of conspiracy. Optional condition completed. Gain a political advantage. Optional condition completed. Prevent open battle. Perfect completion achieved. Base reward increased. 200 general experience gained. Tenfold growth activated. 2,000 general experience gained. Level increased 8 to 9. Level increased 9 and 10. Milestone reached. Level 10 class awakening available. Warning, witness Edwin Hale is in immediate danger. Darian straightened. Where is Edwin? Corvin frowned. The servant. He went to the kitchen. Alistair understood immediately. The witness statement. Darian moved toward the door. Pain shot through his injured arm. He ignored it. Seal the estate. No one leaves. Lord Ashbourne called after him. Lucian, you can barely stand. Darian looked back. Then I will stand quickly. A scream echoed from somewhere below the hall. The kitchen. Darian began to run.